How do you sort out the so-called jargon from real-world practices that work? Do the members of your organization find some business or technology advice utterly confusing? Welcome to Real Talk with Sam Holcman. In this program, we set the record straight, and in terms that business people and technology people can understand. Now, here is your host, Sam Holcman.
Welcome to this edition of Real Talk. I'm Sam Holcman, and today's broadcast is regarding a few words here and actually a thinking process. Some of you may have been familiar with some of the shortcuts, as I call them, people are trying to take when it comes to architecture, both business and enterprise architecture, and also the products that result from those. And when I say products, I'm using that term loosely. That could be models, it could be conclusions. And the phrases that I'm referring to that are actually quite troubling to me, at least, and some others, and that's why I'm bringing this up to you, especially from a number of our clients, is the phrase, just enough architecture. And the other one is a little bit more popular, minimal viable product. So let's start with that one for a moment. Minimal viable product. Viable to who and for what reason, and what is minimal? And when you look at it, you say, well, what does that actually mean? Is it actually a shortcut to say, I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, but let's try something? And what I try to bring to our clients and to our audience here is the same logic. Don't think IT. Think physical. What is a minimal viable 100-story building? What is a minimal viable automobile? Two wheels rather than four? I don't get it. And I think it's an excuse for something else that I'll get to in just a moment. The other one is just enough architecture. And that phrase was coined by a group that said, well, the client determines what they believe is enough architecture. And all I could do was go, huh? The client has, or the in-house architectures, enterprise and business architectures, were hired to figure out what the architecture looks like. How can the client determine what that just enough means? They're actually reversing the roles. And hopefully both of those things will disappear to what I'm referring to is think simple and complete. That's the thing we have to look at. Complete is complete. You've got to have a full architecture. You can't take 100 log cabins and stack them on top of each other to get a 100-story building. You can't have an architecture of a log cabin and magically and mystically morph it into a 100-story building architecture. It just doesn't make any sense. I think it's an excuse for the complexity that some architects are bringing to their enterprises. And that's really the issue. So let's think complete and also think simple. Back in a moment.
Every day in business, we hear jargon, see writings from so-called experts, and don't know what we should follow. And
are you frustrated with your business strategy, mission, or enterprise architecture efforts? If so, the book, Reaching the Pinnacle, A Methodology of Business Understanding, Technology Planning, and Change, by leading enterprise architect practitioner Sam Holcman, brings a method to the marketing madness that surrounds the enablement of business and mission strategy and enterprise architecture. This helpful, no-nonsense book sheds light on this poorly understood topic. It helps business executives and technology professionals build an enterprise architecture appropriate to their organizational needs, enabling their business and mission strategy. Enterprise architecture is the rethinking of how business and mission planning and information technology can support each other to achieve its strategic and mission objectives through the development of a series of project initiatives and agile models. Reaching the Pinnacle is available at Amazon.com.
And yes, my book is about that, thinking simple and complete. Not minimal and not just enough, but actually complete. So hopefully you'll take a look at the book or our website and think about and see the frame of reference that we look at, which is complete and we believe simple for people to understand, stakeholders. It leads to the understanding of what is required to enable a business and mission strategy. Thanks for listening, and I hope this addresses some of the confusion and actually also a trend that I believe is actually detrimental to both business and enterprise architectures. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for tuning into Real Talk. Be sure to join your host, Sam Holcman, again for another edition of our program. We'll have more real topics of discussion then.